Have you heard about this videotape that kills you when you watch it? And as soon as it's over, your phone rings.
We didn't do anything wrong. We did what anyone would do. It's over, honey. She's not coming back.
How do you know that?
The dead never sleep.
The dead always wants to come back.
There is something spooky about it.
There's just something that gets under your skin.
It's that whole fear of the unknown.
Samara's slowly but surely coming.
And she can't be stopped.
Naomi Watts teams up with Simon Baker, David Dorfman, and acclaimed Japanese horror director Hideo Nakata to reprise her role as Rachel Keller in The Ring 2.
Rachel's moved out of town. Clearly, Seattle was not the right place for her anymore. She's just about surviving and keeping her son to herself and protecting her child.
It's working out great, don't you think?
It turns out that Samara's coming back anyway.
I want to show you something.
They found a body.
The guy was dead on the living room floor, right in front of the TV. Tape. Did you watch it?
When this first teenager shows up dead, she feels, in fact, that Samara is following her. It's not just an accident that there happens to be a murder nearby.
Samara is in desperate need of her attention.
Samara wants a mother, and Samara wants to live as a real person.
What's happening? All the safety you had of being rid of Samara just deteriorates. I love you, Mommy.
What did you say?
He starts talking like a sweet child. And this is very foreign to Rachel, and so she's intuitively switched on immediately, knows that this is not my child, this is not how we relate to each other.
Gradually, Samara is taking over.
I'm the character that's on the outside looking in, sort of thinking, you know, what's going on with these people?
Why is she doing this to me?
It's okay, Aiden.
It's the scariest possible imaginable thing that could happen, is that her son becomes possessed.
When you see her enter my body, that's when the real possession starts.
She is losing her son. She has to find out what was the truth of Samara's birth. And this leads her on a very frightening journey that actually takes her back to the Morgan Ranch.
The only thing she can figure out to do is, again, try to go back to the story of her genesis.
What did I do? You let the dead get in.
And there's a mystery about her that she follows and reveals ultimately the horrifying truth of what she's going to have to do.
Another fantastic moral dilemma, you know. If my son is possessed, what do I do?
Honey, don't you think you should sleep?
Hideo Nakata, acclaimed director of the Japanese cult films Ringu and Ringu 2, has come to America to direct the sequel to The Ring.
Hideo did the original Ringu.
And it's interesting to work with him here because this is his first American film.
I wanted to direct The Ring 2 because, well, the script was very interesting and very different from Ring 2.
It just made perfect sense that it sort of just felt like a complete circle.
You're dealing with the man who literally created the mythology that you are trying to explore.
I mean, I'd seen both the first Ring and Dark Water, and so I had a huge amount of faith in him already. And I am someone who really loves working with directors, and I really worship that experience.
I think that Hideo is more fascinated by creating an atmosphere of anticipation, apprehension, dread, than necessarily the big horror payoff.
Take me to where she's afraid.
He definitely brought a lot of his own lore and mythology to the supernatural aspects of the story.
Whenever I direct a horror movie, the challenge for me is how to surprise the audience with unexpected.
Naomi Watts was essential to the success of the sequel.
I don't think we could have had the first Ring without Naomi, and we certainly couldn't have had the second one.
The movie really depended on a powerful performance.
Although this is a horror movie, so Naomi is very good at expressing very realistic emotion as a mother who has to face very unreal things.
A lot of what she does is internalize and react to this horrible, inexplicable thing going on. It demands an actress of great subtlety, but also with dramatic weight.
It's a really kind of complex character that Naomi just understood, I think, completely intuitively.
Look, I know this sounds completely crazy, but she's here now. She's found us.
Camera, Mark!
David is really, really smart and very sensitive. Basically, he's not a child actor. He's almost adult, grown-up actor. And so he could get what I was feeling right away.
She can hear us. She hears everything.
He had a tough role. It was a lot to do. But yet he had a huge amount of understanding of the material. And I think we really worked well together.
Hollywood special effects and Hideo's unique vision were brought together to create a frightening experience.
Action!
Was she in your nightmare?
Rachel! This connection between animals and Samara, they can feel that evil, and they don't like that.
In early stage of pre-production, there was a discussion, maybe we could use the real deer, but we found out the deer during the shoot period, they don't have antlers.
Deer actually lose their antlers every year and grow a new set. So all of that together made it easier to just say all of our deer are going to be computer generated.
The deer are CG deer, but when they interact with the talent and the car in particular, then we would step in on the physical side, because the story is one thing, and then actually how you get the activity in front of camera is another. We brought out some lipstick cameras and built a little miniature road with little trees. Then you could edit it, understand what was working and what wasn't, because eventually I have to build all the parts and try to get the physical elements to match what we think that they're going to do.
A model deer gives the actors an eye line to look at, something that they can react to, and really get the feeling that they are being surrounded by mysterious creatures. And that deer will also act as a little bit of our model for how the deer will look.
It's difficult, and that's where you really have to tap into your imagination and trust.
No deer were hurt in the making of this movie.
Samara's signature characteristics have made her the newest horror icon.
I've always viewed Samara as being basically the patron saint or demon of the abandoned child. She is selfish and needy and can be cruel and destructive.
There's just something so inherently frightening and arresting about the icon that Samara has become.
Six-time Academy Award winner Rick Baker was brought back to create special effects makeup for Samara and her victims.
Rick specifically is one of the kind of foundations of any movie like this, and this movie in particular.
I've done a lot of research on all kinds of ghastly things in my lifetime, and I really, even though I enjoy doing that kind of work in film, I don't really like looking at the real stuff. So more than anything, I made faces in the mirror, which I've been doing my whole life, and so I made, you know, I took pictures of myself making faces, doing the victims of Samara, and then I did paintings in the computer in Photoshop.
We actually liked the way I showed just one eye of Samara in Lingo.
The main thing that gives Samara the look, I think, is the wig. And we made, the wig is all human hair. We had 3 wigs, I think, that we made for the film. Also, I think her arms, which I thought were the most important things, because most of the time she's covered with hair. But the very first thing we did was we painted her with stuff we call tattoo color. It's alcohol-soluble makeup. It airbrushed the veins and the different modeling on that. Her arms were covered with these these glue appliances, and then we used a new technique, and it was a material that we actually use as an adhesive. We actually cast our appliances out of. We needed a makeup that would last in the water. The whole process took about 5 hours with 3 people working on her.
Hold on to your seat and do not get comfortable.
What did I do? You let the dead get in.
Samara is right beside you.